So I want to toast this in here a little bit before I move along. So I'm just pouring enough in here basically just to cover the bottom because I'm not cooking for lots and lots of folks. So I don't need to go crazy and make a whole bunch. So I'm just wanting to toast this a little bit so it gets coated with all that shallot and garlic and olive oil. And then I'm going to add salt to it. That's how much salt I think it needs. Hopefully I'm right? You have to learn to, if you've done this enough times, you'll kind of get an idea of how much seasoning to do. Because this is the kind of thing, you can taste it as you go along, which we're going to. I'm going to add some pepper as well. But you don't want to add too much at the beginning. But you do want to add it. And sometimes seasoning in layers is actually better than just thinking it's all going to happen like right now. Because it's really not. Because you have to taste things as you kind of go along a little bit. So that's been toasted. Now I want to pour it like the glaze, as they would call it, to get that little fond off the bottom of the pan. Yes, sir.
And what temperature is this cooking at?
Well, the thing is, I would say if you're looking at gas or just in a general temperature, it's medium to medium high. Not high, not less than medium. You really need some heat going on here. So I'm going to deglaze this, and you're going to hear it, with some white wine. And you need to cook the alcohol out. You need to let all that steam before you start adding this chicken stock. You really got. Well, I like a dryish style, not as fruity. Like Chardonnays tend to be too buttery. I kind of stay away from that. I mean, there's no real exact.
This is Pinot Grigio.
But this happens to be a pretty neutral tasting Pinot Grigio, so I'm using that. But if you were going to like get butter crazy in this thing, which you could do, you might consider Chardonnay if you were going to do that. But I'm kind of sticking to the classic technique. I actually make large quantities of this sometimes, but I use a pressure cooker because I can knock it out.
You want to come over and stand and look in the pot.
And I don't have to stand on top. You want to stir, stir. Okay, so because that is going on, we're going to.
Now I'm afraid to stop.
We're going to be able to start adding our chicken stock, and you do it, in increments. I want to be close. See, on a stovetop, your burners are going to be closer like this. You see, and it makes the whole process easier if you're going to do this by hand like we're doing now. Okay, so I feel like I've toasted it enough. I feel like I've gotten that wine to get cooked out. You saw the steam sort of come out. It started to dissipate, so it kind of gives you a sense on when that part has happened. And now you want to start ladling in. Another ladling trick is to fill it up, pour a little bit off, touch the top of the liquid, and it won't drip. So I'm going to put like 3 ladles to start.
And you made that chicken stock yourself, but you don't have to.
Well, you don't. No, you don't have to.
You could buy it in the store.
But it's so easy. I mean, you buy your whole chickens, which is much better value and much better quality.
But they could use their own broth from
right.
the store.
You won't be sorry. Or you can make vegetable. Or you could buy vegetable. You could do a seafood thing. You could take some shrimp shells and make a stock all by yourself by throwing some onions and stuff in there with a little water. I make a lobster stock where I take the shells and the body and I crush them and I put it in a pan with a little oil just to kind of get them to turn their color of yellow, or red rather. And then I'll put tarragon and tomato paste and what else did I put in there? I forget. I have it written down. I make up recipes and then I write them down because I'll forget. Anyway, it's starting to absorb that chicken stock, and this is what you want to do. This is like a 20-minute process. So you got to be like all kind of talking to your friends and being patient and saying, how y'all doing and what's up and what are we going to do tonight? Are we going to play cards? Are we going to go to the movie? What's up with all that? And then you do that. Or you're listening to music and you're singing, Pavarotti in your kitchen. Yeah, that too. Oh, see, now it's starting to bubble. So because I have it on full blast, so I want to back it off. I want it to just simmer.
So if they were doing this on an electric range,
yes,
would they put it just on medium?
Yeah, well, yeah, medium would be probably the proper temperature, because that way you don't have to worry that you're burning it, or if you get distracted for a second, you're not gonna mess up your
with
dish.
With gas, how would they do it?
Gas, you have to It's about feel, kind of like cooking. It's got to feel right, or else you're gonna run into
But
issues.
it's a medium flame
Yeah.
to start.
Yes.
And then they can bring it down to a simmer
Yes.
when it starts
Ooh,
bubbling.
I lost power.
Yes?
Sorry, I have to interrupt you for a second. Do me a favor, Fabian. Go outside and bring me in another extension cord, please. Okay, what I'm going to do is switch this just for a second. Whoops, to not slow down my process. Okay. No harm, no foul, right? So that'll keep going. And then I'll eventually get this one back up. But it's really hot, so I don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, so it's when you're doing this risotto, you're going to see that it's going to start to dry out a little bit, and that's when you know for sure it's time to add more. So as we make this quantity, we're going to guesstimate 3 ladles per offering. As you notice, it's going about 3 minutes between ladles, just about, I'm guessing.
Could you tell us what the proportion is between?
So for whatever, let's say I use that much rice, which is probably what I did. I'm going to use 3 times that much of this liquid, more than likely.
It's 3 to 1?
Yeah, it could be 4 to 1, because you want to make sure that it's cooked, and you're going to taste it to make sure that it's not too hard. And then it gets all creamy on you, because it's like porridge. You're stirring it and you're stirring it. Some people like it really loose, some people don't. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Chef.
About the ratio? Yeah, so rice in general, I think if I use that much rice, I'm going to use 3 times that much liquid.
Okay.
So it's 1 part rice to 3 parts liquid. It could be 4 parts, depending on the atmosphere. Because sometimes things just evaporate really quick. Or you, yes, sir.
This much rice will...
Whatever quantity of rice, if you use this container to measure your rice, you use this container to measure your liquid.
How much risotto do you need to serve like for
That much.
that much?
Yeah, and how many people would that serve?
You would get about 4 of those. So that's about
No, I'm saying about how many.
Well, I'm saying this amount right here, I could serve all of us. The amount I'm
so it's
making
4,
right now.
it's 4 times.
Yeah, it's gonna produce 4 of these, about, because it swells and it expands, and if you add stuff to it like mushrooms and peas and whatever, it's gonna do that. And the fact of the matter is, you don't really need to serve a large quantity of it per person, because it's gonna get really rich on you when I start adding this Parmesan cheese to it.
When would you add the other ingredients you were just talking about?
So when this is completely cooked to the temperature that I like, and it's the right seasoning, and you have to consider that Parmesan cheese is a seasoning as well. It's got salt content in it also. Then it expands and it gets richer, obviously. You can add butter to it also if you want that creamier. Some people even add cream to it. I'm like, no.
So if you were to add mushrooms, when would you add those?
I would saute them separately and then add them right as I'm putting it all together.
Yeah, oh,
That would go with any vegetable. We always.
Like I make a mushroom Madeira sauce for my roasted chicken, and it has cream in it also. So that's fine to have cream in it in your mushroom mixture, like a marsala. Like if you had some mushroom marsala left over from your veal dish the other night and you want to make a risotto, just use that. It's done.
So it requires constant stirring.
Yeah, you need to stir this thing. I'm sorry. Did you get my extension cord? No, can you please assist me by plugging it in and then finding an outlet for it, please? Thank you.
It's plugged in, it's not white.
Not over here though, because over here it's going to cancel out again. I need to go in a different direction.
The outlet is behind my desk.
Okay.
Right behind my desk.
And I'm learning what works with my little outlets. I love using these inductions because I can go outside and do it. And when it gets really nice, I'm going to be cooking out in the back. There's going to be a lot more room, hopefully a lot more people, and I can have a big long table and have all kind of crazy stuff going on. So this is just the beginning. So anyway, risotto is one of those things we have to talk to each other and ask questions, and
Do you want to look at what it looks
and get
like?
impatient about why is it taking so long.
I'm afraid I end up stirring, so no, I don't.
She's like, I don't want to stir. Now, I bet you I just wasted 3 minutes, right?
Can
So
be
it's
any
time
kind
to
of
add some more stock. What'd you say? I'm counting on you guys to help me with this.
He
Yeah,
started
I'm not
out
making
with
you stir, so at
shallot,
least
olive oil,
say 3 minutes have passed,
and then
Jim.
he added the
Add
risotto
some more,
and toasted a little bit, and then he
But
started
again,
adding
like
the chicken broth.
you asked me
And he
about
says that
measurements.
Portions about 3
It's
to 1.
fine to have a basic idea of measurements, but you can't hold yourself to that 100%.
And
You
he added
can't.
garlic as
Because
well.
it's gonna take the fun out of it, and it's also gonna be it's just cooking is not an exact science. It's just not. Whereas baking, if I'm gonna make you some rustic bread, I have to stick to the formula. This many cups of flour, this much, and all that. But when it comes to cooking, and if I'm baking, you can't talk to me. Oh no. If I forgot that I've measured 4.5 cups because I'm listening to you, that's why I bake alone. This I can hang out with all of you, so we can have a good time.
I have only one.
Now,
minute.
what would you like in your risotto if you were to be having risotto?
The way you're making it, maybe with mushrooms.
You like mushrooms, yeah?
He doesn't like beets.
I don't like that.
That's okay. No, none of that green vegetable business, right? You don't want none of that, right? How about some parsley chopped at the end?
That'd be good.
That'd be all right with you? Okay, 'cause I got some fresh parsley in there too. I'm just getting the lay of the land over here by asking. How about you, young lady? What would you like in yours?
As long as you don't put liver and snails.
Oh, I got some liver. Did I tell you? I have some snails from Burgundy, France in the bag. Oh yeah, and liver. Oh my God, my butcher right down the street. He says, Jim, I got the best baby calf liver you ever want to have. Put some onion, caramelized onions, and bacon all over that. Oh my, and put it over your risotto. Oh my God.
Did you talking her language?
Yeah.
You like where I went with that? You like right where I went with that? Oh,
Yeah.
girl, I'd be making me some liver.
What about
Anyway.
bacon? You put bacon in there? Can you put bacon?
Oh yeah, pancetta is what they do.
Okay.
So you could cook the pancetta in here first, and then make it all happen together. So you could use the pancetta as your fat instead of olive oil, or a combination thereof would be even better. Or if you wanted just bacon, you just cut it into cubes so that it's not like this thin stuff, and you just saute it. It just starts to get crispy. You can take it out and keep the fat, and then add it back later. You can do that, but you know, just saying, no rules. That's what I love about cooking. I can just make up something right now if you want. Okay, so it's starting to get there to where I'm going to have to begin to taste the doneness of it. I'm going to let it reduce a little bit more before I do that. I am going to do that. It's a little wet still. So.
What should the texture be?
It should be like a properly cooked oatmeal. Like a porridge of sorts.
But not mushy.
No, not mouchade or mushy.
And not wet.
No, Italians in Italy, not in America, they like it what they call al dente. It just sort of gives, and I'm going to shoot for that, but I'm going to take it a little bit past that if I can, so that it's not unpleasant to eat.
So it should have a bite to it.
A little bit, you know, you don't want to go crazy. You got too much of a bite, but it's in there. I'm feeling the love. I feel the taste. I say it's got a decent salt. It doesn't really require crazy more salt, so I'm pretty good at that. You know what I mean? A little practice goes a long way. So I'm going to start adding only one ladle at a time now, because we're getting closer to our desired texture. I mean, I'm becoming more of a fan of this al dente as I'm tasting it more. And you need to do the same when you cook. And you need to trust yourself. And trust what you like. And then hope that everybody else likes it too. Oh, I never turned this back on. There we go. We got life again on the fire. Without the flame, we got the fire without the flame.
My daughter says it smells phenomenal.
Okay. So what I'm going to do before I commit myself to the doneness is that I'm going to put it on a plate and give you little spoons, and everyone's going to give me their opinion about the doneness before we
You want to
take
give
it
them a
to the
little
next
teaspoon,
level.
each one of them?
So I'm going to trust that once this is reduced
I got it. I can
to
handle
the
it.
point where it's time for me to add some more chicken stock, that's when I'm going to let you taste it, so that we can see how close we are, so that you'll be able to trust yourself when you go to making for yourself. And when you put liver in yours and onions, and when you put mushrooms in yours, and when you put the kitchen sink in yours, and I don't know about you, we'll figure it out. And what do you like in your risotto?
I'm having the mushrooms and peas.
Mushrooms and peas. You heard that, didn't you, folks?
I do my liver with red wine.
Yeah, that was
I
like,
think we're just
wow.
going to have one bowl and they'll each take a spoonful. He's just going to taste it. No,
So
it's
what
just
I
a
want to
tiny,
do
he's
is
just
take
going to
one
give a little
bowl
bit. Oh, it's
and
just a
then one
spoonful.
plate for them to put their spoons on it. Okay? So they get to dip this in there, and then when they're done tasting it, the spoons go on the plate. Okay? Can you guys smell this?
Oh, yeah.
I just wondered if I'm perfuming
He's on the table.
the dining room or not. Okay, I'm going to turn it down ever so slightly so it doesn't overcook. I'm just going to guess that I did it right. And I'm going to guess that that would be the way to serve it, meaning as wet as it is. It's not too wet, it's not too dry. This is what I'm guessing. So where did those spoons go?
We put them on the table.
Okay, so what I suggest you do is take your clean spoon, taste it, and then put your spoon on the plate. So the next person can do the same. Unless you feel like all family and stuff and you want to just share spoons, you go right ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Is this a large table, chef?
Everybody
lady
gets
here,
a
please.
taste.
Please.
So he's been stirring now for about 20 minutes.
But I've been stopping you, haven't I? Shucking and jiving, right? So it can kind of babysit itself most of the time. Not all the time, but
Yeah, but
most
you got to stir it most of the
Well,
time.
it's like a kid. You got it in the room and you
Jim,
can't get out.
I'm asking you a question. You have to stir it most of the time. That's
Yes,
what I've heard about risotto.
that is correct.
So
It's not done enough?
Who thinks it's done?
I think it's just a touch more. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, it's just a lot.
See,
Okay.
and because of my little demonstration, it lets me know how I'm going to do a compromise. So this is going to be the last offering of what do you call chicken stock. So once this is reduced down to lose most of its liquid, I'm going to proceed on to adding grated Parmesan cheese and stirring it. And then I'm going to make everyone a portion of it, and I'm going to put some very fine Parmesan cheese with some parsley and truffle oil on it to serve you. No vegetables, no mushrooms. Sorry, people. Next time, when you come for dinner or something, I'll make like a veal milanese. I'll make a saffron risotto with some nice veal chops, and I'll make a nice demi-glaze with veal. Or I can make the milanese where they bread the veal chop and they pound it till it's really paper thin. It's like a schnitzel almost. They say that they invented the schnitzel in Milan, but you go to Vienna and see what they do. I'm going to do Oktoberfest where I'll be making a schnitzel and some stetzel. So that'll be happening also. So I'm going to get some parsley together too. Awesome. I had a cutting board here. What happened to it?
Right behind you.
Now some people take a knife and they go like this to get the parsley off. I'm not making that much, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to just pull it off. And a little trick for chopping parsley, I don't know if you may know this or not, but I'll show you. We don't need a lot, because there's not really a lot of us.
Can you do it over there?
I'm going to.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, you're right here. If you take your parsley and you make it into a ball, okay? And then you cut it. It makes it a lot easier to chop parsley. And you can turn it and give it one more little chop if you like. And that's about as much as I like chopping it. But anyway, that's my little parsley trick. Now there's this thing called remolata that they serve on ossobuco, which is a veal shank. But it's really nice on risotto too, where you would take some garlic. I could take some of that garlic and mix it in with that chopped parsley and serve it raw because it's really finely chopped, with some lemon zest, and give it the gremolata, which is a garnish that they usually put on a veal ossobuco. So if they take the risotto milanese with the saffron risotto and they put the veal shank that's been braised on top of it with the natural juices from the vegetables and the veal itself, and then they'll put the gremolata on top as a garnish. It's just unbelievably good. You want me to put gremolata instead of just simple parsley? I can do it in a heartbeat. You're okay with that? Okay. I'm going to use the shallot instead because it's milder. It's not as in your face as much as the parsley. I mean, as the garlic rather. So again, I cut across this way first. Then I cut this way second. So then when I go to dice it, it's already in little cubes. Okay. And then lemon. Okay. We're almost there, guys. By the time I'm done with this gremolata, we'll be very close to being there. Okay. So what I use for the gremolata is this microplane because it really makes the zest really nice and fine. And most of the flavor in a lemon is in the zest, not in the juice. And if I was to do a raw preparation, like in Italy they call it crudo, or in French they call it tartare sometimes, and in Japanese they call it sashimi. But in this case, that little whistle is my rice cooker saying, I'm done. That's rice for lunchtime. I'm actually making 3 different rices today. I've got a saffron rice going over there, I have a wild rice going over there, and I got this going over here. Anyway, bam! There you go. So what I'm going to do, because maybe not everybody wants this, I'm into garnishes, because that way if you don't like something, you're not stuck with it. I cook like in components. So I make a bunch of components or a bunch of different condiments like this, and then I serve it as a garnish. So if you don't want it, you're not stuck with it. It's not like in your dish. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I'm feeling the love now. I'm turning this off because I'm taking your word for it that we made it just beyond al dente. So that'll take a spoon as a garnish for everybody to put on if they choose. That was my sample plate. Don't need that anymore. You know what this is. Okay, Parmesan cheese. Who doesn't like this? No one. Are you joking me? What are you talking about, Chef? You don't like Parmesan cheese?
This is going to be so good. It smells good.
Another thing that I do with risotto, which I do on the menu right now, is I make risotto and I let it cool off to where I can make balls out of it. And then I fry them. And I serve them with pesto genovese.
They're really good.
And they're called arancini. But the real arancinis are done with saffron risotto, and they stuff it with meat and peas. You wouldn't like it, sorry.
What part of Italy serves those rice balls?
Sicily.
See, our grandparents are from Sicily, and we never put them out.
Well, they call them arancinis, and they're really the size of a small orange, and they look orange because of the saffron that they use to make the risotto. But the classic one is got meat and cheeses inside, and they serve it with marinara sauce. So what I did is I wanted to do it sort of my way, and I wanted to make it gluten-free, because they also put breadcrumbs on theirs and stuff. And now there are a lot of people here that they're like gluten intolerant, so I don't want to deal with that. So rice doesn't have gluten, so it's gluten-free, because I don't put anything on mine. I just fry it. Wow. Okay.
Here's plates.
Here we go, folks. So yeah, arancini is Siciliano. I'm going to be generous because you guys are so nice, you see?
What is it?
It's not ready yet. It will be shortly.
You're going to garnish it?
I have couple things to put on it, yes.
Okay. Yes.
I think this came out good, guys. I sure hope you think so. So I was a little bit off. I'm looking at maybe like 12 portions this size. Okay, so then microplane. What happened?
How many containers, like pint containers, do you think you used in there?
Of rice? 2.
Okay.
2. Okay, cheese. Yes.
Question in the audience.
So we want to put some really fine cheese as a garnish.
Be careful. I hear about it all day.
We want a nice one here.
Okay.
So based on what Jim just said, it looks like from the 2 containers of rice that he used, he's getting about 12 cups of product.
Wow.
12 of these, and that's enough, because look how rich this is.
So if you use just 1 cup, you could serve, one of those pints, you could
Is there
serve,
anyone that doesn't want granola?
you could serve like 6 servings.
Everyone wants granola?
Yes, who else has a question?
Chef, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I noticed you're stirring with a plastic spoon. Is there a difference between a metal and a plastic spoon that you're stirring with?
I don't want to scratch my pot. And this can take a lot of heat.
It's silicone, right?
Yeah, I love those spoons. They're like crazy good.
It looks.
Is that the one with the metal inside of it?
There's no metal inside of
Okay.
it. Okay, truffle oil, everybody?
Oh, were you gonna ask that? I think they could go with truffle. I'll make it then.
I do French fries with this,
Oh, gosh.
with the cheese and the truffle oil. Okay, everybody, here we go.
Thank you, sir. That looks great.
Enjoy.
I'm sure
Nice.
it tastes better than
Oh
looks.
my goodness.
What do you think?
Very good.
Really good.
Superb.
Ah.
Just superb.
That is good.